destrucción de ciencias, los ataques y manifestaciones pro-Palestina por parte de la administración de Wayne State y los crecientes ataques de Trump contra estudiantes internacionales y inmigrantes.
Shame again! We have witnessed public services decline while our country is stripped and sold for parts.
Hemos presenciado el deterioro de servicios públicos mientras nuestro país está desmantelado y vendido por partes.
Shame.
¡Hey!
We have witnessed firsthand police officers abuse students who had united to demand an end to the genocide in Palestine. Shame!
Hemos presenciado de primera mano cómo la policía abusa de estudiantes que se unieron para exigir al fin de genocidio en Palestina. Shame!
Shame! Meanwhile, Wayne State administration continues to target and silence those same students through academic misconduct charges. Shame!
Mientras la Universidad de Wayne sigue castigando a los estudiantes que han participado en las protestas. Shame!
Shame! Revolution, yeah. I have witnessed my dear friends with families who depend on them, have their visas revoked for no goddamn reason. Shame!
He visto mis amigos y familiares que les quitan sus visas por ninguna pinche razón.
While President Espy and our administration at Wayne State sat idly by. Shame.
Nuestro presidente de Wayne State se quedó ahí al lado viendo sin hacer nada.
They did nothing to combat these attacks on their students, forcing us to rely on the ACLU to protect our peers from the same president who is defunding academic research, strangling DEI initiatives, and sending ICE onto campuses to rip students from their classes. Shame!
No hicieron nada para combatir estos ataques contra sus estudiantes, lo que nos obliga a depender de la ACLU para proteger a nuestros compañeros del mismo presidente que está desfinanciando la investigación académica, sofocando las iniciativas de DEI y enviando al ICE al campus para expulsar a los estudiantes de sus clases.
It is because of Wayne State's admin's cowardice that my friends have felt compelled to self-deport out of fear of repression from our own government. Shame!
Es debido a la cobardía de la administración de la Universidad de Wayne State que mis amigos se han sentido obligados a autodeportarse por miedo a la opresión de nuestro gobierno.
Shame.
Shame.
I stand before you today as someone who refuses to forfeit my humanity to fall in line with any regime which promotes white supremacist ideology in academia, continues to perpetuate the genocide in Palestine, spreads wider war to the Middle East, and who kidnaps students for exercising their goddamn right to resist.
Me presento ante ustedes hoy como alguien que se niega a renunciar mi humanidad para alinearse con cualquier régimen que se promueva la ideología supremacista blanca en el ámbito académico, que continúe perpetuando el genocidio en Palestina, que extienda la guerra al Oriente Medio y que secuestre a estudiantes por ejercer su derecho a la resistencia.
As a student for a democratic society, I demand an end to
Como estudiante por una sociedad demócrata, yo exijo un fin a
any regime that promotes the deportation of human beings out of this country.
cualquier régimen que promueva la deportación de seres humanos de este país.
Any regime which puts profit over people.
Cualquier régimen que priorice las ganancias sobre las personas.
Furthermore, as an organization, we demand the rich out of our government.
Además, como organización, exigimos que los ricos estén fuera de nuestro gobierno.
We demand a free Palestine and the U.S. out the Middle East.
Exigimos una Palestina libre y que Estados Unidos se esté fuera del Medio Oriente. Oriente Medio.
We demand ICE out of our schools and our city by designating Wayne State and Detroit as a sanctuary campus and a sanctuary city.
Exigimos que ICE esté fuera de nuestras escuelas y fuera de nuestra ciudad y que Wayne State, la universidad y la ciudad sea una ciudad santuaria.
This is my warning to any administration, whether it be Wayne State, City Council, DPD, or a president that stands in our way.
Este es lo que yo les digo a las personas, al cónsul de la ciudad, al alcalde o cualquier persona que se enfrente con nosotros.
There is no going back. The people are in the streets and we demand to be heard.
No hay vuelta atrás. La gente está en las calles y exigimos ser escuchados.
What Biden and Kamala didn't understand and what Trump is seeing now is that we will never give up.
Lo que Kamala y Biden no entendieron y lo que Trump está viendo ahora es que nunca nos rendiremos.
As students and the future of this country, we demand more.
Como estudiantes y el futuro de este país, exigimos más.
And we will not stop until we get what we want.
Y no nos dejaremos de luchar hasta lograr el cambio que exigimos.
It's because of this that as SDS, we like to chant, dare to struggle, dare to win. You're good on this part. All right, so when I say dare to struggle, you say dare to win. You ready? Dare to struggle!
Dare to win!
Dare to struggle! Dare to struggle!
Dare to win!
Thank you! Alrighty, next up we have Nova from DARPA. There they are. Oh my goodness. All right, let's hear it one more time for Nova.
Hello everyone, my name is Nova and I am from the Detroit Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression.
Hola a todos, soy Nova y soy con la Sociedad contra Represión.
Thank you all for coming out today. We are here today to show solidarity with our immigrant neighbors.
Gracias por estar aquí hoy. Estamos aquí para dar solidaridad con nuestros vecinos inmigrantes.
And we are here to stand in solidarity with the brave people of Los Angeles who are standing up to ICE, the LAPD, and the National Guard.
Estamos aquí en solidaridad con la gente de Los Ángeles que se está enfrentando con la policía y con ICE.
We know that ICE can and will be used against anyone Trump sees as a threat.
Sabemos que ICE lo van a usar contra cualquier persona que Trump vea como daño.
Whether they are citizens or not. This is why we must demand that the city of Detroit, the city of Detroit becomes a sanctuary city.
Van a usar a ICE contra cualquier persona, por eso demandamos que la ciudad de Detroit sea una ciudad santuario.
We must demand that the city and all cooperation between ICE, the DPD, and Trump.
Exigimos que no esté...
We must demand that the city of Detroit
Exigimos que la ciudad de Detroit
and cooperation between ICE
termine la cooperación con ICE
and the DPD.
y el Departamento de Policía de Detroit.
We must also build community control over the police so we can protect our people in this city from police violence and defend our resistance from political repression.
Tenemos que defendernos contra la policía y contra la represión política.
If we want to actively work towards change, we can't rely on the Democratic Party. We can't wait for the next election.
Si queremos hacer cambio real, no podemos esperar para el Partido Demócrata, no podemos esperar hasta la próxima elección.
We must build people power, and that starts in organizing in our communities.
Tenemos que hacer poder de la gente y eso empieza en organizando nuestras comunidades.
After today, the work is not done.
Después de hoy, el trabajo todavía no termina.
I urge you all to join groups like Detroit Community Action Committee, who are working toward making the city of Detroit a sanctuary city.
Les recomiendo que se una a uno de los grupos, como el grupo que quiere ayudar a hacer que la ciudad de Detroit sea ciudad santuaria.
Or Detroit Anti-War Committee, to get the city of Detroit to divest from genocide.
O unirse al grupo antiguerra que quiere que la ciudad no participe en genocidio.
Freedom Road Socialist Organization, to fight for oppressed labor and nationality in movements.
Otra organización que lucha contra nacionalidad y movimientos.
Or join us in the Detroit Alliance to build community control over the police.
O únase con nosotros, Detroit Community Alliance, para formar control sobre la policía.
We are stronger when we are organized.
Somos más fuertes cuando estamos organizados.
Thank you all again, and I'd like to finish with a chant.
Gracias a todos y quiero terminar con un chant, canto.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Thank you.
Let's hear it for Nova!
Un aplauso para Nova.
That was their first speech ever, and it's in front of thousands of people. Incredible work if I say so. Our next speaker is from Detroit Anti-War. It is also their first time speaking. Wow. In front of all these people. And I think they're gonna kill it. Let's hear it for Daniel!
Hello everyone, I am Daniel. I'm an activist with Detroit War Anti-Committee.
Hola a todos, soy Daniel y activista del Comité Antiguerra de Detroit.
Like many others who are here today, I'm a child of immigrant parents. My parents had to face hardships and struggles that are unique only to the immigrant communities of this country.
Como muchos otros aquí presentes, soy hijo de padres inmigrantes. Mis padres tuvieron que enfrentar dificultades y luchas exclusivas de las comunidades inmigrantes de este país.
As an anti-war activist and a child of immigrants, I know that firsthand Trump is using the same tools he has used to harass my family and community to silence those who dare to resist genocide.
Como activista antiguerra e hijo de inmigrantes, sé de primera mano que Trump está usando las mismas herramientas que ha usado para acosar mi familia y comunidad y silenciar a quienes se atreven a resistir el genocidio.
This repression can be seen with activists such as Jeanette Vizguera, who's been unjustly detained by ICE since March 17th as retaliation for her work with immigrant rights.
Esta represión se puede ver en activistas como Jeanette Vizguera, que ha sido detenida injustamente por ICE desde el 17 de marzo como represalia por su trabajo en defensa de derechos de inmigrantes.
Vizguera was leaving her work on break when she was surrounded by ICE officers and detained in a truck. The officers then proceeded to laugh in her face. Shame!
Vizguera estaba saliendo de su trabajo en un descanso cuando fue rodeada por agentes del ICE y detenida en un camión. Los agentes se rieron de ella en su cara.
This same repression can be seen with pro-Palestine activists such as Mahmoud Khalil, Mohsen Madwani, Yosef Chung, Umser Osir, and others who speak against Israel's actions continue to face increased surveillance, FBI investigations, visa denials, and deportations.
Esta misma represión se observa con activistas pro-Palestina como Mahmoud Khalil, Mohsen Madawi, Yosen Chong, Rumeisa Utsur y muchos otros que denuncian las acciones de Israel, quienes siguen enfrentándose a una mayor vigilancia, investigadores del FBI, denegaciones de visas y deportaciones.
This repression has hit Michigan as well. On April 23rd, the FBI and state local police raided the homes of pro-Palestine activists in at least 3 cities: Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, and Canton. Shame!
Esta represión también ha afectado a Michigan. El 23 de abril, el FBI y la policía estatal y local allanaron a las casas de activistas pro-Palestina en al menos 3 ciudades: Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor y Canton.
No one, no matter the country of origin, should have their basic democratic rights violated simply because they oppose genocide.
Nadie, sin importar su país de origen, debería ser violado sus derechos democráticos básicos simplemente por oponerse al genocidio.
It is clear that Trump will use Homeland Security as a way to strip us of all our rights and squash any resistance to his goals. Shame!
Es evidente que Trump utilizará el Departamento de Seguridad Nacional para despojarnos de todos nuestros derechos y aplastar cualquier resistencia a sus objetivos.
This very same Homeland Security receives cooperation with the Detroit Police Department, allowing ICE to act as federal agents who profile Latino, Arab, and Black community members.
Esta misma Seguridad Nacional recibe cooperación del Departamento de Policía de Detroit, lo que permite a ICE actuar como agentes federales que perfilan a nuestros miembros de las comunidades latinas, árabes y negras.
The tactics that ICE uses to target the immigrant communities is directly learned by training with the Israeli occupation. Shame!
Las tácticas que usa ICE para atacar a las comunidades inmigrantes se aprenden directamente del entrenamiento de la ocupación israelí.
This is why, as anti-war activists, we have called Palestine our compass. Since October 2023, Israel has killed and critically injured hundreds of thousands of Palestinians using bombs made by companies like General Dynamics, which are headquartered in Sterling Heights. Shame!
Por eso, como activistas contra la guerra, consideramos a Palestina nuestra brújula. Desde octubre del 2023, Israel ha asesinado y herido gravemente a cientos de miles palestinos con bombas fabricadas por empresas como General Dynamics, que sede en Sterling Heights.
These same bombs made by General Dynamics are being used by Israel to bring war to the broader Middle East. As recently as Friday morning, Israel has used our tax dollars to buy US-made bombs and colluded with the president to bomb families in Iran.
Israel ha utilizado estas mismas bombas fabricadas por General Dynamics para llevar la guerra al Oriente Medio. Tan solo el viernes por la mañana, Israel utilizó nuestros impuestos para comprar bombas de fabricación estadounidense y se confabuló con nuestro presidente para bombardear a familias en Irán.
Israel and Trump are not satisfied with the continued slaughter of Gazan children. Trump continues to use Israel as a way to wage a proxy war against people that the United States government has been trying to convince that are enemies for decades. Shame!
Israel y Trump no están satisfechos con la continua masacre de niños en Gaza. Trump sigue usando a Israel para librar una guerra indirecta contra quienes el gobierno de Estados Unidos lleva décadas intentando convencernos de que son nuestros enemigos.
Palestine has proven that the peoples of the Middle East are not and have never been our enemies of freedom.
Palestina ha demostrado que los pueblos de Medio Oriente nunca han sido enemigos de nuestras libertades.
It is our racist president, his cabinet of white supremacists, and billions of dollars that they sent to Israel to continue the slaughter while their big, beautiful bill threatens to strip us of our basic needs. Shame!
Es nuestro presidente racista, su gabinete de supremacistas blancos y los miles de millones de dólares que envían a Israel quienes continúan este masacre, mientras su gran y hermoso ley amenazado con privarnos de nuestras necesidades básicas.
Trump has used billions of our tax dollars to destroy families in Palestine and all Arab countries from Iran to Yemen, and families right down the street.
Trump ha utilizado miles de millones de dólares de nuestros impuestos para destruir a familias en Palestina, en todos los países árabes, desde Irán hasta Yemen y familias a la vuelta de la esquina.
Same as bombs dropping in Iran are funded by our tax dollars, so are the unmarked ICE agents. The very same forces that kidnap, murder, and separate families in Palestine are using right here in Southwest are one and the same. Shame!
Al igual que las bombas que caen sobre Irán se financian con nuestros impuestos, también lo que hacen los agentes de ICE sin identificación, las mismas fuerzas que secuestran, asesinan y separan familias en Palestina y aquí mismo en el suroeste de Detroit, los mismos.
Not only are we, as pro-Palestine protesters, justified in our fight, but it is clear why Trump has targeted us. Our opposition to Trump is interconnected to the opposition of Israel's genocide, Trump's proxy wars, and the war profiteers that provide the fuel for destruction.
No solo estamos justificados como manifestantes pro-Palestina en nuestra lucha, sino que es evidente que porque Trump nos ha atacado. Nuestra oposición a Trump está interconectada con nuestra oposición al genocidio israelí, a sus guerras indirectas, a los especuladores de guerra que alimentan la destrucción.
It is our solidarity with Palestine, with our immigrant communities, that has turned us into a force to be reckoned with.
Es nuestra solidaridad con Palestina, con nuestras comunidades inmigrantes y entre nosotros lo que nos ha convertido en una fuerza de tener en cuenta.
That is why we must divest from these war profiteers. Divestment is a way we can land a real blow against Trump and his genocidal administration.
Por eso debemos invertir en estos especuladores de guerra. La inversión es una forma de asestar un golpe de verdad a Trump y su administración genocidia.
Divestment is also unable to be separated from ending Detroit's police cooperation with ICE, which is one of the departments that the DPT works with and therefore learns the tactics of.
La desinversión tampoco puede separarse del fin de la cooperación de la policía de Detroit con el ICE, uno de los departamentos con los que el DPD trabaja y por lo tanto aprende de sus tácticas.
We must end all cross-training between our police and any other agencies that uses Israel's murderous, racist tactics.
Debemos poner fin a todo entrenamiento cruzando entre nuestra policía y cualquier otra agencia que utilice las tácticas asesinas y racistas de Israel.
It is for this reason we joined Detroit Community Action Committees, calling in making Detroit a sanctuary city.
Es por esta razón que nos unimos al llamado del Comité de Acción Comunitaria de Detroit para convertir en Detroit en una ciudad santuaria.
If you think that your tax dollars shouldn't contribute to the destruction of families in the Middle East, or right here in Detroit, joining DCAC or us, the Detroit Anti-War Committee, is a great way to start.
Es por esta razón nos unimos al llamado del comité. Si ustedes quieren ayudar que esta ciudad sea una ciudad santuaria, únase con nosotros.
And stop at the Detroit Anti-War Committee table if you want to learn more, or any of the other tables there.
Pasen a la mesa antiguerra, cualquier otra mesa para unirse al causa, que las mesas están por allá.
And thank you. I want to end with a quick chant real quick.
Gracias, quiero terminar con un canto de nuevo.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Thank you.
Yeah! Daniel's first speech ever in front of all of these people. How'd they do? How'd they do? Hell yeah! Fuck ICE! Fuck Trump! Fuck Israel! Okay! Next up, we have the lovely Russ Ballant of the Anti-Fascist Organizing Coalition.
You! I need a partner because I wrote it because I wanted to be very precise in what I said. Thank you, Katrina. The major precondition for martial law is to have dictatorial control of the regions, the cities, and the streets of a nation. Dictatorial control means the power to arrest, beat, imprison, deport, or kill people whose views, speech, and actions are contrary to the dictator. The United States is quickly evolving toward martial law. The Trump world military reaction in Los Angeles was not due to protester behavior. It was due to a long-held goal of Trump to militarize the streets. He does not want anti-racist rallies to influence America. When George Floyd and BLM rallies grew in 2020, he ordered the Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, to put troops in the streets to shoot them. To shoot them, you hear? When Esper refused, he pushed police departments to, quote, clear the streets of the rallies. The police in Detroit and other cities began brutalizing citizens. In 23 and in 2024, Trump again talked about putting troops on the streets, about creating martial law. He said he could use the Army's Delta Force to kill his opponents, and that's a quote. 3 weeks, that would be mass killings on our streets. 3 weeks after Indivisible organized the April 5th Hands Off rally, Trump signed an executive order on April 28th to unleash police and to put the military on the streets. April 28th, just 3 weeks after the Hands Off rally. Let's understand the street difference here. The standard doctrine of police forces is the minimal force necessary to maintain order. The doctrine of the military is maximum force to destroy the targets. Military doctrine. So when he signed the executive order, he planned to use it for anti-Palestinian actions, for Palestinians and solidarity actions to fight us, to use against anti-immigration actions, and to perhaps then use it under some pretext to counter anti-Trump rallies planned for the next year. Since he says he can kill his opponents, then there is a good chance he will build capacity to do so. He tried before and has different people now that will follow his orders. Let's highlight one of them. Troops will be under the command of Peter Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Hey, I think you know who we're talking about here. Hegseth said last year, and this is in November, that he was organizing, quote, an underground army for insurrection, and that he would remain underground, it would remain underground until it became operational. He is part of a religious cult that openly rejects the U.S. Constitution, including the Bill of Rights. He calls for insurrection against it. That's what his underground army is for. Their leader wrote a book praising antebellum slavery in the United States. Their meeting halls are lined with portraits of Confederate generals. Joe Biden took the name of Confederate generals off of 8 Army bases. Hegseth vowed to restore the names of those Confederate generals on the Army bases. When Trump spoke at one of those bases last week, he praised restoring the Confederate name. That was at Fort Bragg. Hegseth fired black and female commanders, purged hundreds of books from the Pentagon Library that were anti-racist and anti-sexist. The religious cult that Hegseth is part of is known as Christian Reconstructionism. It seeks to replace the Constitution with Old Testament law and govern without elections by seizing power. Hegseth's leader, Doug Wilson, has said on podcasts that Christians must be ready to die for their cause. Their underground army is being formed from a K-12 network of 500 schools that they run across the country. They have said that these schools where they indoctrinate students are the boot camp for their underground army. This is something that nobody in the press is talking about. Okay, is that it? Okay, and again, this is the same person who said that slavery is desirable for everybody. This is the same person. The affinity for the Confederacy, I'm halfway through, the affinity for the Confederacy is telling not only for its base of bigotry, but its storied violence. When America elected an anti-slavery president in 1860, the Confederacy launched military operations before the inauguration of Lincoln and tried to overwhelm and defeat the surprised and unprepared northern states before they got their act together. This model, without the bloodshed yet, is the Trump world strategy of continuous political assaults that are now morphing into militarized assaults on unsuspecting and an unprepared nation. Okay. Keep in mind that when Trump issued the June 7th order to mobilize troops, it did not name LA as the target. It talked of states across the nation. So that is the policy that we speak of. If you are not persuaded that forces are not being mobilized for violence with a racist motive that undergirds the MAGA base, consider this. This is not being reported in the media either. 1 year ago, a book titled Unhumans was published that was read in Trump world, but not known to our world. It asserted, and please listen to this, it asserted that anyone who believes in fairness and equality is an unhuman that must be crushed. It said that a method of crushing unhumans was practiced by dictators who seized powers and conducted mass murder on their opponents. They praised and wrote about these tactics. They wrote a chapter on each dictator and glorified their brutality. Now listen to this. This book is endorsed by J.D. Vance. This book is endorsed by Donald Trump Jr. This book is endorsed by Steve Bannon, who co-published the book. In other words, this call for mass murder is backed by the inner core of Trump team. An author of the book, a known neo-Nazi and longtime friend of Donald Trump, has been involved in Trump missions. So when they are building lethal capacity on the streets and endorsing political mass murder, we should not be unprepared to enlist more extreme forms in their war. Trump released the January insurrectionists, January 6th. Know this, FBI Director Kash Patel announced that white supremacist groups are no longer a public threat and we're no longer being targeted for investigation. Thereafter, an armed neo-Nazi group resumed paramilitary training in the eastern United States. He's importing apartheid world Afrikaners, but deporting other people, bringing white supremacists to the White House, making federal agents, masking federal agents while kidnapping without warrants, deporting racially selected targets to encampments in other countries, appears to mirror the stages of the Third Reich when they began the process of mass murder. It all started with deportations to other countries. Slow at first, but accelerated as Hitler's power was consolidated. And since Trump has repeated that Hitler did good things, and he has said this to his people repeatedly, but he never criticized Hitler for anything. since his first wife, Ivana, said in 1990 that Donald Trump's favorite bedtime, she said this in an interview in Variety magazine, Donald Trump's favorite bedtime reading was Hitler's collected speeches. We need to really know that this is about that. The Trump team has openly promoted the AfD neo-Nazi party in Germany. Since Trump is sustaining the mass starvation and killing of helpless Palestinians by his former longtime associate Benjamin Netanyahu, perhaps we should be putting the big picture together and prepare accordingly. When people anticipate these dark possibilities, they think about moving to another country. But Trump world has designs on Europe as well. France is close to electing a fascist leader for a year now. Italy already has one. Austria, England, Germany, Poland, and Hungary leaders have influential parties that have been growing based on turning these populations against newer immigrants. They are also forcing mass expulsions, and Trump world is visiting and standing with them. With his vision of controlling Canada, Greenland, and merging with European fascism, Trump can envision a third-term creation of the Fourth Reich. Getting very close to the end. Many of us see his determination to make permanent his one-man rule, even laws to limit the influence of the courts, while Congress has become servile. The Congress has. Universities, law firms, media outlets are bending to his demands. Our voices today are not just a vehicle for anger or venting. We are building the defense of pluralistic, democratic, and constitutionally intact society. We are doing that. Our rallies across the U.S. in almost every congressional district are the best hope for countering the hateful, anti-constitutional, well-funded forces that seek hegemony over us all. We must teach, we must organize, we must show out, because we are the basic antidote for the specter of fascism.
Let's hear it for Ross! Fuck Trump! Fuck ICE! Fuck Israel! Fuck Nazis! Fuck Nazis! Fuck Nazis! All right, after that we have a poem from Audrey of We the People Dissent. Let's hear it for Audrey!
Thank you, guys. Well, my name is Audrey Boryod. I am with We the People in Dissent Indivisible. Usually, you know, I do the call to action because I'm very much about action in those troubled times. Today I actually have a poem for you. Ooh, why? I know, very surprising, right? Why? Because art is very much part of this fight, okay? We need everyone to connect and get together to fight this enormous threat. What is at stake is absolutely gigantic. And the threat itself, you all know that, is terrifying. But we're not terrified at all, because we are strong. We're here and we show up when our democracy is under attack. Seeing you guys here with your amazing signs, so creative signs, so powerful signs, gives me so much hope and strength and courage. Thank you for that. Thank you. A mini call to action, I promise, 2 seconds, because you know I just cannot help it. So after the protest, make sure you're connected with activists, okay? You have a lot of amazing tables that all groups present today have put together. connect with us. You know, there are so much more going on beyond the protest. The protest that you saw here advertised on the media, well, there are so much more going on beyond the protest that you can do to fight and resist this regime. So I count on you. After we're going to, march and do many other things together. Make sure you grab a flyer at the table and you join a group. Okay. Are you ready for the poem? Okay, you're my people. America, I became American. By shimmering chance on a sea of change, and maybe a few swerving atoms and currents. He likes the poem. Along the mysterious pathways of existence, I became American. Who was I before then? This is uncertain. Even now, all draped and cradled in your soft, sleek flag, America. Warmly welcomed in your Wombi land. All I know is, in the timid old world, I was born low, and low, despite your motherly largesse, I remain. But no regret, no woe, as I knew before I came, your dream had been a troubled one, if not an openly outlandish lie. And still I came, trusted you could be my mother too, through the ride, the grim, the mean, the dismaying mayhem of your ugly man, your harmed songs of America that I accept as my ruddy brothers. Please demand they say hi to the migrant who commits to stomach them. And if you were to deny me the care of a loving mother, as you have done for a long time, I've been told, to your kids of color. And if you were to ramble, repeat the errors of the past, and add new ones, stir hatred up, treat me as an outcast daughter. And if you were to make the first election I cast my ballot my last, and if you were to lose sight of the rightful fight, threaten my and others' else, or our peace, or right to happiness, like a child of a cruel parent speaks up for their tormentor, I would hold you tight and wrapped in my unconditional love, America, like a newborn who yesterday was my elder, for whom I am now responsible. And I would sing you a lullaby, America, and I would make you a better place.
Let's hear it for Audrey. All right, our next speaker needs no introduction, but I'm still gonna introduce her, why not? We have the lovely, the spectacular, the ever busy, hard-working Rashida Tlaib.
Whose streets? They can't hear you. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose street? Whose country? Whose country? Whose country? Well, y'all, welcome. Welcome
because you're here today. You showing up like this to show that we're going to resist. Them kidnapping Michael, them kidnapping our family members, them ignoring Supreme Court decisions, them going around Congress to go to war. All of these fascist, unconstitutional, unlawful decisions only can be fought when we resist in the streets. We did not get the Civil Rights Act because somebody in Congress woke up one day and said, geez, that's a really good idea. It's when people protested, they marched, they boycotted. Many of them, some of them lost their lives because they said our black neighbors deserve human dignity. And we know it's not even perfect. You see how they watered down the Civil Rights Act already. But we didn't get the right to organize unions because the president woke up one day and said it was a good idea. No, it's when we withheld our labor. When we unite against the fascist government, against Trump and his minions, because it's not just Trump, it's those in Congress that enable him, like John James. Congressman John James wants to be governor? No. You're going to tell me you're not cutting Medicaid? I'm watching those that are living with disabilities that are ill and sick and need Medicaid in his community be lied to over and over again that he's not doing it. He's sitting there just pressing the button for Trump. Pressing the button for Trump. But I'm not here to talk to you about Democrat, Republican, because let me tell you, I get these questions from young people all the time. Are we doing enough? No! But no one is doing enough in the establishment, political establishment. You know that too. That's why you all doing what you're doing and resisting in the streets and demanding that our families stick together, demanding that our rights be protected, demanding that our country come back for the people, by the people. It's when you all resist. I know it's been incredibly painful and overwhelming. The one thing I've learned growing up in the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, I mean, we birth movements. If there's any city that's going to end fascism, it's Detroit. I want them to try to come here and tell us what to do and see what happens. We're not going to turn our back on our Constitution and the rights of our neighbors, no matter their immigration status. The constitutional rights and the due process of our immigrant neighbors are our rights. When you step on their rights, you're stepping on all of our rights. And I want you to know, right in the midst of all this, is the corporations funding it. There are corporations benefiting from this fascist government. Every time we go and send bombs to kill children in Gaza, somebody's making money from it. Every time they allow sick care to continue in our country, guess what? Somebody is making money every time we get sick. Every time they continue to say, climate crisis, there ain't no climate crisis. Guess what? Marathon Oil, U.S. Steel, all these companies are the ones making money by allowing the status quo and allowing somebody like Trump and his minions to continue to deregulate and make sure that they have permission to pollute and poison our air and poison our water. So I want you to know, pay attention of who's funding this fascist regime, who's funding these members who will not take the courage to choose their people and the residents that set them there to Congress. And they're choosing, again, greed and profit in their donors. I see it every single day. It is exhausting to watch them gaslight and mislead the public and say this is for the good of the people. No, it isn't. You all know it, and guess what? Your own people are rising up and saying, this is not what I voted for. This is not what I voted for. But I want you to know, dissent country is a value that needs to be cherished and protected. And you all, in this park, in Clark Park right now, you are dissenting. You are dissenting and you're saying, not on our watch. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. As I look around all of you, I remember when Pastor Bland Jr., black pastor in my district, reminding our country is not divided but disconnected. When I look at all of you, you don't have to have a zip code in Detroit to understand that fascism hurts all of us. You don't. Many of you have your stance and why you're here. Maybe immigrant rights, maybe free Palestine, maybe LGBTQ, may it be fighting to make sure workers are protected, may it be saying you will not dismantle education in our country, may it be whatever issue. The more we are connected, the more dangerous we become to this administration. So I want you to continue to rise up because I want to remind you always